Hi, everybody. It's Sharon from Accidental Art Maker. Do you like my new hairstyle? I just had it cut on Friday and I had it lots of layers. It's a shag with a curtain fringe and I'm loving it. So thank you to Joni who cut my hair. Welcome to Accidental Art Maker. It is a Sunday afternoon while I'm doing this, and I had advertised this as doing a large piece of art, and I still am, but I'm not doing Queen of Nile because the large piece of art that I got is not large enough to accommodate the queen. So I have other ideas for the queen, but I'm going to need to coordinate some things with my family first so they do not disturb the foot traffic that I will be blocking when I work on with the queen. So that's down the road. Anyways, hello. This is part of my 10 minutes a day series. I'm just going to be doing something here probably a little bit longer than 10 minutes because that's kind of what happens when we start doing art. If you just start doing something, you pick up a paintbrush and you just start painting something, and you say, I'm only doing this for 10 minutes. Unless you hit a timer, 20 minutes will pass by before you're like, oh my gosh, 10 minutes is up. And you'll find that you have gotten motivated and inspired and that you want to keep doing the thing that you're doing. In most cases, at least that was my experience the month of January. I've decided to continue doing this through the month of February. We'll see what happens in March. I don't have to commit myself to anything right now, but today I am still working on, let me show you guys this. So it is this, I got it from BuyNothing. If you haven't heard of BuyNothing yet and you're on Facebook, go on Facebook, search up BuyNothing and find your local group, because you can go on there and ask and give for all kinds of things that you can repurpose for home decor. I get all my furniture from there that I upcycle. It's free. You go on there, if you can look through the listings and see if there's anything there that you want, or you can post and say, hey, I'm looking for 2 nightstands or looking for some love, and boom, you will have lots of people offering you furniture that they want to get out of their garage. Now, some things might need a little bit of love. Some things like this. So this is, it's like a 40 by 20. It is not like somebody's actual photograph. This is some kind of machine made thing. And I am just going to be painting this and prepping it for the next thing I do, which will be a transfer, which as yet is to be determined. But today I'm just going to take a bunch of color and paint this. And I've picked out colors that make me happy. Why? Because I can. This is my art after all. And that's what you guys should be doing too. Spend your time doing something that you love, create with colors that make you happy. For some people, that's black makes them feel really good. For me, these days, it's their blues and greens with some pinks. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm not really sure. Let me know where you're watching from. If this is your first time joining, welcome. If it is, just a quick insight. My name is Sharon. I'm the Accidental Art Maker. I've been upcycling furniture for 10 years. More. And I've been an IOD stockist, Ironworker Designs, and DIY paint, and recycled decoupage and stencils, and maybe I'm wrong. That's a breathful. So I sell all those things, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I want you to get creative. And if something I do triggers you and you get inspired, whether it's to go dancing or chalk to a sidewalk or crocheting, I go for it. Just go do something for 10 minutes a day, commit to a month, and come back in here and tell me how that feels. Hello to you who are watching. Throw your name in the chat. Let me know that you're here, and we're going to get going now. I'm just going to turn on my little camera and switch cameras over here. The wind is blowing really hard here, so if you hear what sounds like doors opening and slamming shut, that is just this little door I have to a crawlway in this room, and that's it. Nobody's stomping around here mad. Okay, let's get going. Let's get going. Okay, here it is. It's this photograph of like a dock going out to water. And like I told you, it's machine made. So we're going to be transforming this. Let's see if I can move the camera a little bit closer. All right. And I'll move it around so you guys can keep seeing it. All right. And be sure to jump on and say hi. I want to say hi to you, whoever is watching. All right. So one of my favorite colors is this one. It's a DIY color. I believe this is I always screw up the names, Bohemian Blue. So I like Bohemian Blue. It's a nice dark color. I've got some grays up here because I think I know which inlay I think I'm going to go with the inlay next, and I think I know which inlay it is. But let's just get going here. You guys, this is called a FIFO bottle or a FIFO bottle. Look at that. Woo! All right, that feels good. So I'm putting that over here, and then I have a little bit of this pinkish whitish here, and I'm actually going to put that. I normally don't do this, so this is like definitely one of those. There's like the right way you're supposed to be using paint, and then there's your way, whatever you want to do. So I am fairly confident I'm going to be using up all of that pink in this, so I'm going to let that go. And I've got some hot pink up here. It's called Kissing Booth, but we're going to save that for later. So I'm just going to start painting here like this. So my intent in the time that I have with you here is to get this painted, and I'm gonna let it dry overnight, and then I'll be coming back and adding an inlay or a transfer tomorrow. But today my goal is just to paint this and paint the frames too. That's the thing about paint, is that it's just paint. If I end up saying, I don't like this, or I should have blended it more, I can make it come back to life with some water, or I can add some more paint to it, or different color paint. But yeah, so just some pretty colors here. I am going to try and blend. Just putting a little bit up in the corner up here. I'm going to come back and forth here. You can see just a little bit of that light color. It's a Jamie Ray pink color is blending really well right here. All right, I still have a little bit of popping through, so I'm just going to go back and forth like this. That's a really pretty color. All right, I'm going to be painting the frames too, but first I just wanted to make sure I got the nooks and crannies here. All right, somebody is saying something. Let's see who it is. It's Carrie from California. Hey, Carrie. Your name does not look familiar. Have you watched before or popped on to say anything? Curious minds want to know. All right, now I'm painting this frame. You can kind of see here, I'm doing the outside edges here with some of this color in here that I've mixed. This is just my base color. I'm going to be adding more color onto this, but I did want a kind of solid color here. So I'm just going to pull the color across like this. still has a little bit like in here where you can see a little bit of dark coming through, but that's fine. All right. What part of California, Carrie, are you from? I lived for a while in San Francisco and Alameda, and I really liked it. Okay, here we go. Oh, this paintbrush. All right, and then this paintbrush. I'm not well organized today. I'm just kind of jumping on here. Move these out of the way. I got a little art stand behind me. All right, I'm gonna come in here and I'm grabbing my kissing booth. Yes, you bought IOD for me. What did you get? If you tell me where you're from and what you bought, I might remember you. I do pay attention to my California customers because I'm always curious where they are in California. All right, so I got my kissing booth right here. And thank you, by the way, for being my customer. I hope I didn't sound like I was being very flippant there. So I got my pink, and I'm gonna, I should have probably dipped my brush in some water first, but that's okay. I can do that in a second. I've got that, oops, did you see what I did? I got, right, you guys can barely see it, but I got a splatter of pink here. That's okay. Let's see if I come in here. Yeah, you guys can see that, but I want to see what you guys can see on camera and off camera, because I want you guys to see what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna move this close to Truckee. Oh, San Jose. Yeah, I know San Jose, and I know Truckee. I've been through there lots because I think Truckee is on the way to Grass Valley. I'm thinking for some reason. I'm not familiar with Colfax. I moved to San Francisco from Washington, D.C. in 1994 and just had fallen in love with San Francisco on a previous trip with my sister. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see this. I need a little bit more pink. Just going to dip it in my brush here and get a lot of pink. Okay, and then now I'm going to pivot the camera, whoops, this way. See, I'm getting pink in here. Okay, 15 miles from Grass Valley, yeah. One of my friends, really good friends in San Francisco, his family owned like a little, it was like a family place on some acreage there, and we would go there and camp out. I liked it. All right, now, so you can see, I've made a little bit of a mess here. I've had an accident with my pink. That's okay. I'm going to be, what I wanted to do was like blend a little bit of this blue and this pink together here along the frame to see what that looked like. Let's move the camera like that. Yeah. Yeah, and one of, I'll keep an eye out for you if you send any more. It was fun, yeah. Especially when you're young, right? You're in your 20s. It was the 90s in San Francisco. The tech world was just taking off. I had come from a very conservative Washington, D.C., and San Francisco is about as opposite as you can get from Washington, D.C., as you could probably imagine. But my two kids were born in San Francisco in Kaiser Hospital there. And we moved to Alameda, where it was a little bit more affordable. And then I ended up, long story short, I ended up in Washington State. And I've been here since, I think, 2011 now. But I also live like in Outer Sunset in San Francisco, up by the ocean. And loved that. It was a fun place to be. Until I met my husband. My ex-husband. I shouldn't be saying that. Okay, let's get in here. But I'm sure there's much people watching who have ex-husbands and can relate. Okay, now, let's see here. That's a pretty color. You guys see this? Let's see here. Oh yeah, it was. It was, and in good ways. It was in good ways for me. I grew up in a very interesting home in DC where my dad was he was a speechwriter and writer for Republican White House administration. So he worked in the old executive office. And then my mom worked basically for the union. She worked for the AFL-CIO. So those are two very different what's a nice word to say? Those are two very different ideologies. And my mom was like a Democrat, and so we had all kinds of interesting conversations. But I got to be around a lot of different people in DC, and I was very jaded with politics by the time I left, from both Democrats and Republicans, which I know is not like a safe topic you're supposed to be talking about as a small business owner online, but I kind of feel like Switzerland when I'm talking about it. But yeah, San Francisco was so different. It was a very welcome change. More people got along across the line. I didn't realize how much like racial tensions there were in DC until I got out of it, and I was like, oh, like it was a big surprise. And then huge, gay, queer, trans in San Francisco in the Castro area, and you never saw anything like that in DC unless you were down at DuPont Circle late at night. But yeah, it was very fun. It was very fun. Hey Dee, how are you? Good to see you, Dee. Yeah. Yeah, Carrie, it was interesting, that's for sure. My dad died in 95, and he had left the Reagan administration. He had gotten a little bit jaded with it. And when he left, he passed away a couple years after he left, but he had been working for the it was an Asian, I want to call Pan-Asian something or other in DC. And so he basically started working for people who were very different who he had been working with before. Like he was working with Asian business community, and he loved that. And he here, let me get this up here where you guys can see. So he passed away, and it was actually the anniversary, almost 30 years was on February 1st. And at his funeral, he had also been sober for 10 years. So at his funeral, he had people from AA there. He had old school Republicans because he had started working for the Republican Party, like with Nixon. So old school Republicans, and he had people from the union there from my mom. He had the Asian community there from that business. And it was quite the funeral for Washington, D.C. All kinds of different people there. So, Dee says, I have an opinion about Reagan was governor in California. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, I got to go to the White House a lot when I was growing up, and when I was a little kid, like really little, I didn't understand, like not everybody gets to go to the White House. And then when I was a teenager, which was during the Reagan years, I was a cynical teenager who knew everything, and that really I had a different opinion when I would go. I would go to like cocktail parties, and I would see all the politicians drinking and whipping it up. I got to see heads of states come in from other countries and give speeches, and I understood it a little bit better than like what an opportunity I had, like the access. Not everybody had that, so yeah. So you and I could probably talk about that because my mom later went to work on for Jean Dixon, who was an astrologist. She was also a big real estate agent in Washington, D.C., but she was also into astrology. and she was Nancy Reagan's astrologist. And the latter half of the Reagan administration, um, you know, President Reagan was quite ill. He was having dementia issues, and Nancy Reagan was doing a lot of the presidential duties behind the scenes. And she and Jean were in cahoots. They were kind of using astrology to help help make decisions. But it was interesting times. All right. Speaking of interesting times, I hope you guys have been watching me paint this here. So I introduced a little bit of the pink here came off the frame, which was fine. And in here, let's see if we can smooth that out. But like I said, this is just kind of like step one. I'm going to be adding more paint. If I'm doing a transfer, I might just put a transfer right on top of this, but I'm heading towards a inlay, which means more paint and maybe some more blending. And if I do the inlay, I think I'm going to do, I want this to be, I don't want like I want more color, and I want blotches of colors through here. And I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. So this is the part of the process I was telling you guys where you can switch pictures here, where once you get going, like I just came in here with the intention of painting this all one color and the frame a second color, but I spilled some paint along the way. And the next thing I know, here I am. It's over 20 minutes. And now there's lots of colors in here. And I like it. And it's pretty. And I think I'm at a good stopping place right now. I'm just like adding a little bit of touch-ups in here so that my brush strokes are going the same way here on the bottom. But I think I'm in a good stopping place. I'm going to let this dry and see what it looks like tomorrow when I come back. And but I will be thinking overnight, and I'll probably change my mind a couple of times, but like, do I want to do that inlay or do I want to do that transfer? I've been thinking a lot about, it's called Wallflower. It's a transfer. I really like that. I've been thinking about something big and loud and proud. And then the other one I was thinking about was the inlay. I love the Chateau inlay, and I have some scraps that I would love to use in here too. So that's kind of where my mind is at right now with my art. So anyways, I mean, that about wraps it up. So a little bit more than 10 minutes as usual, but always enjoyable. Yeah, Carrie. Yeah, it was very interesting in there, according to my dad. I think it was one of the reasons why he left. There was a lot of stuff going on. And, but that was one of the reasons. And then my mom later went on to work for Jean Dixon. DC is a very small town, right? Like, and there's a lot of people in it, but like, if you're in politics, like, people know people, and it helps you get jobs, and, secrets might be on the hush hush, but at least this is when I was there, but it's like, there aren't really that many secrets. But yeah, my mom started to work for Jean Dixon, and my mom also worked for the Catholic Church. She worked for the Archdiocese in, I think it was Maryland. And boy, man, my mom learned a lot of interesting stuff between those two jobs. It's enough to make you jaded. Yet another reason why I'm glad I moved to San Francisco. So anyways, and I did love San Francisco. It was really different, right? So different than Washington, D.C. and Virginia. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed my stories. And yeah, I didn't want to go into too much detail here. It's a fascinating world that we live in. And yeah, I don't really miss DC that much. I was just back there with my family, and I was really happy to bring them around. But just in general, like, nothing to do with politics, like, I'm much happier on the West Coast, and, glad I'm not in that dynamic, and it's pretty conservative all around there, like, people like, here, when people go to work, they're in jeans and, shirts and stuff, and, like, it's pretty casual in there, people still seem to get dressed up and stuff like that, but, yeah, it's a very different culture. Anyways, well, Carrie, I'm glad you joined. Thank you again for being my customer. I hope you have fun watching this. Check out the 10 Minutes a Day series if you haven't already. I've got like something written about it on my website, in the blog area, just kind of tracking my experience through this. And I'm very much loving it. And of course, I want everybody else to love it too. And oh, one more thing. I'll put the link in the notes in a few minutes, but I'm testing something out on my website. And if you want to sign up, if you want to help me test and get 10% off an order, say so in the comments, and say like just say anything like, let me help you test, or like I would like to help test, and I'll give you a link to my website. And what I'm trying to do is get more people signed up for text messaging, so that when things come up, we have a bunch of releases coming up very soon. It's not a secret, across all the different brands that I represent. And if you want to be the first in the know, it's very easy for me to shoot out a text and draw your attention to it. I'm going to be on the people who get texts already. They're always the first to know about codes, and like discount codes or free shipping. They get first dibs, and that's when I'm going to be continuing in this VIP club. But I'm trying to set up my website so that it sends out the code and welcomes you. And I would just like some feedback. Like, I think it's set up pretty easy, but I want your opinion too. So if that's something you're interested in, just let me know in the notes, and I'll send you the link to the website. And if you have any issues ordering anything and using the 10% off, just let me know. And I want to know if anything annoys you, and I want to know, is it just super easy? The other thing too is I'm looking for feedback on the abandoned cart message. So if you want to put something in your cart and start to check out, and then don't worry, like that, your 10% will still be there when you use it. But what is that experience like for you too? So I'm just trying to make it so that it's easy for customers and enjoyable, pretty much like a quick way to get good information and find out about the upcoming releases that we have. So now that is really it. I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. Let's see. Yes.